Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Connected Sales and Marketing webinar. Today's speaker is Scott Orange, a solution architect here at True North. Please feel free to submit any questions you may have into the chat, and after today's webinar, we will send out a link to the recording. With that, I'll let Scott take it away.
Hey, folks. Thank you, everybody, for attending today. Like Amber said, my name is Scott Orange. I'm a solution architect here at True North Dynamics on the Power Platform side of our business. So I help our customers and our partners really dissect their needs around these customer engagement applications, whether that's sales or field service or customer service. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit of a different area in terms of the customer engagement suite. We're going to dig into more of the marketing side of things, specifically this application called Customer Insights. As we're going along today, please feel free to throw questions into the chat. I will be taking some time at the end of this to go over those. And if we're not able to address your questions here, certainly we can follow up with you after the fact. So just kind of kicking off in terms of today's agenda, I want to start by really just talking about what aligned sales and marketing means and some of the benefits around it. I'm actually going to be leaning pretty heavily on some research that came out of Gartner and some of the reports that they've put out. So it's going to be a little heavier on statistics, but I think it's worthwhile to at least have a foundation of why we're discussing this. Then we're actually going to get into the application a little bit too. So we're going to peel back the hood on Customer Insights. We're going to look at what sort of features are there and how it assists with that motion around aligning sales and marketing. And then we're going to talk about the importance of customer journeys, how you can get started in thinking about those customer journeys and building them today. And you really don't even need to rely on any technology to get started with that. If we've got some time, I will be doing a quick demo around just unified sales and marketing. And I'll give you guys a quick glimpse at the Customer Insights application and how it connects into the sales and CRM tools that you might already have with Microsoft. And then at the end, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to provide some answers along the way. So please don't hesitate to throw them into the chat as we're going along. There's no need to wait until the very end. I believe everyone's muted here, so you will need to rely on that chat to get started. So just starting off here, what is aligned sales and marketing? Well, it starts from the fact that today's customers actually expect a lot more of us than they have in the past. So 64% of customers wish that companies would respond faster to the changing needs that they have. Clients don't want to wait for us to catch up. They want us to meet them where they're at currently. And when customers are given a more personalized buying experience, we see they're more likely to purchase. So when we can take the time and we can tailor an interaction and experience to a given customer, we do find there's a lot more success. And 32% of customers say that will actually drop a company and stop doing business with them if they feel like they're getting inconsistent experiences. That doesn't just mean inconsistent experiences in marketing or inconsistent experiences in sales or customer service. They expect people to have a unified view of who they are, regardless of where they're going and what kind of department they're touching into with a particular business. But businesses really can't take an either or approach between investing in sales or investing in their marketing platforms. When we kind of look at traditional sales, human engagement has some standard tools and assets and motions that we tend to go through. So sellers will work with playbooks and scripts to simplify a sales process, make sure they're consistent in their language, and typically buyers are going to go along with the sales recommendations that are presented to them. But oftentimes buyers don't know what they don't know. And when we're just taking strictly a sales-led motion into account, buyers are often not getting all of the information that they need. And this is proven out in the stats. Again, these numbers are coming out of Gartner. And it's buyers who are led only by sales reps are 63% less likely to actually complete that high quality deal. So it's not enough just to invest in the talent. We also need to look at pairing that with the technology. When we look at that digital engagement, we see that marketers take a slightly different approach. They're looking for seamless digital commerce experiences where buyers are provided with a ton of information, whatever they need, right? Buyers are typically doing a lot of research before they even reach out to a supplier, especially in B2B scenarios. So when we're providing that information, it's great. It provides a little bit of extra trust and security, but there's really no requirement for those clients, those end users, those prospects to actually read and understand things. What this leads to is buyers sometimes making ill-considered decisions and things that they'll regret. So the stats proven out here that 20% more likely to regret just purchasing through a strict digital channel and not having an interaction with a sales rep throughout the process. So that's a bit of where things can go wrong if we don't invest appropriately or if we take an either or approach. But what happens when we are able to combine these things? Well, what we're seeing is that sales organizations that prioritize aligning those two strategies, the human engagement and the digital engagement, they're 3 times more likely to exceed their targets around new customer acquisition and sales. I'm just going to say that again, 3 times more likely not to meet their targets, but to actually exceed them. So even organizations that make these investments are blown away by the outcome when they have aligned sales and marketing. Again, this is all getting pulled currently from a 2023 Gartner report on integrated sales and marketing. Within that report, there is a survey, and then there's some questions that get reported on. And I thought that this was really interesting. So most organizations don't have this right, to be clear. So when they were asked, this is business leaders on the sales side, so CROs or senior sales professionals, our sales organization and marketing functions use different definitions for a qualified lead. 62% agree. What might be even more alarming is that 35% really aren't even sure about whether or not there's alignment between sales and marketing. So it's only 4% of these organizations, as reported by Gartner, it's only 4% that feel like there's a unified definition around what is a qualified lead. So think of your own organization and where you all might be today. Is that something that you feel like you're struggling with when you have your sales team? Does it seem like they truly understand the language around marketing? Leads can mean a few different things to a lot of different organizations. Even within a sales organization, people can have different definitions of what a lead is or what an opportunity is. But that process, that handoff of qualifying that lead into a sales opportunity, that's an essential handoff in any sales organization. And if we're not aligning on common terms, it's going to be very difficult to really know where we are and where we're going as an organization. So we have a maturity model that we can work with here, 4 levels in terms of how an organization can assess where they are today and really kind of build towards a more unified and integrated arrangement. So initially, we're really just talking about sort of separate applications altogether. Sales has their sense of targets. They really own opportunity management, and marketing listens in just in terms of strategic objectives, but they're very much managed independently in terms of how the marketing team and the sales team are operating. I like to think of this just from a technology standpoint as sort of separate lives and separate silos, separate applications for the sales and for the marketing divisions. Moving up one line, we're talking about really connecting those two teams. That way, we can have a bit more of a shared vision around what our goals are and how we're orchestrating a customer's journey to ensure success. So we're moving from separate systems to connected systems. And then at maturity level 3, we're talking about truly integrated systems here. And by having an integrated system, it means marketing and sales can jointly manage the entire buying journey. And they're going to have aligned metrics and aligned objectives in terms of tracking the growth and the success of their sales and marketing initiatives. And at the end of the day, what we're aiming for here is really full operational integration, where it's an end-to-end customer experience and journey that has insight and buy-in, not just from sales and marketing, but also pulling in other elements of a customer experience team, meaning customer support and success, and really every aspect that might touch one of your clients. So ask yourself, where do you guys stand? Where does your business stand today in terms of this maturity model? And then moving from here, we're going to get into how Microsoft can start to pull this together for you and what Microsoft's customer engagement platform really does. So when we speak of Microsoft's customer engagement platform, it's a few different applications, but it's one unified database underneath. It's one set of kind of credentials and security and identity protection that goes into those users. And when we're talking about integrating these applications, you have consistency across your entire data landscape as it relates to your clients and customers. I've got a quick introduction video here from Microsoft on it. I promise it's the only video that I'll show in this, but I think Microsoft does a better job of really highlighting this application in just a quick 2-minute clip than I could do. So we're going to start here and then move from there.
To deliver exceptional customer experiences, you need to understand and engage with your customers in real time. However, your data analysts and marketers can't keep up with these customer expectations due to fragmented data and time-consuming manual content creation. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Customer Insights now combines our customer data platform with real-time journey orchestration to empower your teams to uncover new insights and deliver personalized customer experiences with next-generation AI. And now with Copilot in Customer Insights, you can boost creativity with recommended content ideas and break down barriers for your teams with access to data and target segments. Data analysts can unify transactional, demographic, and behavioral data to get a holistic view of your customers. They can also use first and third-party data sources to enrich your customer data to find out more about your customers' interests, product usage, or to layer on market data. With Copilot and Customer Insights, data analysts can use simple natural language to explore, analyze, and understand customer data and discover new insights without ever needing to use SQL queries. Marketers can seamlessly create new customer segments and journeys with Copilot, describing their desired customer outcomes in their own words. They can also simplify content creation with text and image recommendations that can be tailored to suit your company brand and audience. Sellers receive a seamless handoff from marketing with a unified timeline of customer interactions, prioritized leads, and personalized product recommendations. With visibility to AI-predicted customer lifetime value, customer service agents can prioritize and personalize the service level to provide the best support experience. Dynamics 365 Customer Insights lays the foundation to create truly personalized, responsive, connected customer journeys across sales, marketing, and service teams.
All right, so what we saw there was actually two legacy applications merged into one. So Microsoft has had a customer data platform with that name, Customer Insights, for a number of years now. And they had a separate marketing application up until, I want to say it was mid-2022 when they unified the two platforms. The rationale behind this is because we want to have that shared data capacity, and we don't want customers to have to pick or choose between having a consistent customer data platform and a true marketing, real-time marketing application as well. So you will see occasionally throughout this, the rest of this Microsoft section, some features leak in from the customer data platform, but for you, it's important to understand that it's all one SKU, it's all one product. And so just by purchasing Customer Insights, you get access to two separate applications that can both really enrich your sales activity, but they're meant for slightly different personas. So we'll touch base on that as we go along. I don't need to go through that again. So these are those personas that really are impacted by this shift in terms of customer experiences. We're talking data wrangler. Those are the folks that are responsible for really creating a unified picture of a client's health by pulling data from all sorts of different systems, whether it's social media, whether it's signals coming in from website activity, pulling that with transactional data from an ERP or accounting system, as well as those interactions day to day, whether it's happening in email, chat, or phone, those interactions that are getting captured by either Dynamics 365 Sales or potentially another CRM system. So the Customer Insights data platform is somewhat agnostic in terms of where some of those customer details live. But what we're here to talk about and focus on are our center two folks, so the marketing and the sales side of things. We'll touch a little bit on where service comes into play, especially as we get into the value of those journeys and developing your own customer journeys to work with. But each of these folks has different needs that they come to us with in terms of what they want for their clients and how they want to achieve their goals. So when we look at this, it's 14% of organizations have achieved a 360-degree view of their customers. So we're doing slightly better in our Microsoft statistics there than we are on our Gartner side in terms of at least aligning on what a qualified lead is. But that does show that most organizations haven't gotten there yet, even though these tools are available, even though digital marketing and digital selling has been the norm for the better part of a decade now. We're still seeing a lot of clients and customers lag behind. But what a lot of organizations are doing is they're beginning to implement customer journey orchestration. So that means not just defining what steps in a sales funnel we want somebody to go through, but having a responsive system where if a client takes one action or behavior, we can respond to that accordingly. When it comes to our sellers, 85% believe that really understanding that buyer intent, having more information about who they're talking to is critical to their success. And on the customer service side of things, oftentimes agents struggle because they don't have the full context of who they're talking to. Going back to those stats I opened with, this is a no-go for a lot of customers. They want to have that consistent experience regardless of what portion of a business they're touching into. And so it's essential that we empower those customer service agents with that data. And so, yes, so this is how Dynamics 365 Customer Insights can assist here by unlocking that single view, creating these relevant real-time customer journeys that scale, and enhancing sales with even greater intelligence and efficiency. So think about how can you empower your team to do more with less? How can you get more out of the data that you're collecting today? And how can you look to save minutes, hours, potentially days in a year in terms of people's work and their efforts at driving towards these sales numbers? We're going to go a little bit deeper on both the marketing and the sales side in terms of these personas. And we're going to walk through a couple of the features inside of Customer Insights and how they directly impact folks. So they'll have a quick view here of building those customer journeys, how you can go about personalizing experiences, creating segments so that you can effectively differentiate between who the clients are that you're working with, what their personas are, and really what your objectives are to move them from a prospect into a customer, and then beyond that into an advocate for your organization. So relevant real-time journeys. Sorry about that. So you can create customer journeys now easier than ever before by actually just using Copilot. So you'll see Copilot show up across Microsoft's stack of all their cloud applications. And this isn't a separate SKU. This isn't a separate product. You don't have to have Copilot for Microsoft 365. No, these are features that are built directly into their Dynamics 365 applications. So you can really speak it into existence with what you're trying to achieve. And in this case, you can see how a simple request drafts itself on the right-hand side of your screen into a stepwise journey with various dependencies and actions that can get taken. You can also implement things like A/B testing so that you can identify what the most effective messaging or marketing collateral is. And this all helps you really understand more about how the work that you're doing and the investments you're making are paying off in terms of client success and sales success. I apologize for bouncing around on you guys. All right. And that's all so that you can reprioritize your time and your efforts to make sure that people are getting the most out of both that technology investment, but then the hours that they spend. So these relevant real-time journeys take us away from that traditional sales funnel approach where we're going to kind of have a mass email. We're going to narrow it down into some prospects. They're going to, align in terms of calling our sellers, and then we're going to close the deal. The reality is clients can take a lot of different approaches, and there can be a lot of different signals that we pick up as an organization along the way in their buyer journey. So with real-time journeys, we have the ability to actually interrupt folks within kind of their flow of business. There's things like abandoned cart routines, where if somebody purchases or starts to build out a shopping cart on your website and then they don't actually purchase it, you can send out push notifications, text messages, emails, notify them, hey, we've got 2 hours until the close of business. Notice that you were potentially ordering something. If you buy now, we can have it shipped out today, right? Those are things that are time bound that we won't be able to do with just a traditional marketing approach. But with these real-time journeys, we're empowered to make those sorts of decisions and impact those sorts of buyer outcomes. But in order to be effective with any of these journeys, we need to know who we're working with, and that's where segmentation comes into place. So we've got the ability within our segments in Dynamics 365 Customer Insights to have both static and dynamic segmentation. So we can build things out based off of behaviors, real-time behaviors, or we can build it off of demographics or firmographic information. So if we want a segment that's just dedicated to a particular region, that's fine. But if we want a segment dedicated to people that registered for our last webinar but maybe didn't attend, we can also take that into account as well. And the beauty of this is that it really reduces how much interplay is needed between sort of our traditional IT folks and then the marketers that are closest to their initiative and their mission. These tools are put directly into the hands of the marketing team. And at the end of the day, this is all going to help us nurture these leads in real time. So we can use logic to inform those journeys based on behavior, and then we can trigger a journey based off real world or virtual interactions and apply that journey to repeat and kind of impact some of the frequency controls around it. What this does is it means that we are, as an organization, are able to really meet a client where they are, give them the information that they need or the nudge that they need, at the right point in time. So in this example, you can see this journey is actually triggered based off of an in-person interaction, walking into a store and then connecting to the Wi-Fi. So Microsoft Dynamics 365, it just allows you to respond to those customers immediately and then convert their expression of interest into a sale. So you can take that registration for the Wi-Fi, build it into if-then branches that enable you to respond differently based off their behavior or off of their profile. And then if your customer is part of your loyalty program, maybe we lead them into one direction. But if they're not part of your loyalty program, well, we'd like them to sign up there. So you can leverage all of these built-in triggers to create events, create engaging interactions, create tasks for your sales team or service team to follow up with. And then you can apply controls that specify whether a customer can repeat this journey, how soon they can repeat it. If they perform the trigger again, what happens? You've got a ton of available features and tools, and they're right into the hands of the marketer themselves. There are areas of this application that we don't recommend you set up on your own. So there's certain things that are very much plug and play in the Microsoft ecosystem, but there are some services. Most importantly here, I would say, is the text messaging and being able to set up an appropriate communication provider is essential. But once we line up the pieces and once you have a sense of what this application can do, it really is in the hands of the users themselves. All right, so I'm going to just take a break here, take a quick pause. This is the point in any presentation where I start to get bored, I start to drift off and lose my focus a touch. Maybe some of you have already jumped into Outlook or you're scrolling Instagram, if you do have your cell phone, I would just ask, hey, take a picture of this QR code and you'll be taken to just a demo form that I put together. I'll be walking through a bit of the application in a bit. And so feel free to throw in your contact information, but you don't have to. You can come up with a silly name if you want. And don't mind the Buffalo Pride in there. When I was throwing together this demo, I did add in just kind of a suggested text of "Let's go Buffalo." So feel free to ignore that. I'm going to leave this up for just one more minute here while I take a sip of coffee, and then we'll jump right back into it.
Scott, sorry if I can interrupt. You're on mute.
That's what I got you here for. Thank you, Amber.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, luckily nobody heard me swearing then, right? All right. So there's the form. We're just jumping into the seller experience, and I've got a great co-host here. Thank you, Amber. So we're just going to talk about the seller experience and how that's impacted by customer insights, because it is a marketing application initially, but all of that data is essential for sellers to do the best that they can with their time. So in terms of the enhanced sales with greater intelligence, it's critical to really build that shared vision between marketing and sales teams. With customer insights, you can align marketing and sales on common goals to optimize pipeline velocity. And you can use these out-of-box analytics dashboards or customize your own so that you're getting the most relevant information. This seamless integration with Dynamics 365 Sales is going to provide teams with readily available dashboards to track accounts as they progress through the pipeline. This enhances their understanding of the primary drivers for lead generation and qualification. So sellers know day to day where these are coming from, and they can act on those, or they can provide guidance to marketing if they're identifying things that could be improved. And this allows you to empower those sellers by assigning activities to your sales team to accelerate that lead generation funnel. So with customer insights, you can create sales activities such as tasks and phone calls directly from journeys so that leads get individualized attention at the right time when they're the most likely to engage. So marketers identify those potential leads, and then the sales teams are getting valuable time and opportunities in the lead nurturing process. So in this example that you're seeing, a journey was created to upsell a new product. Marketing created a journey to send an email to all existing customers with an offer to sign up for a new product. For those who signed up, a new lead is created to hand off to sales. When creating a lead, marketing can set the topic and assign an owner to provide additional details to help sales out. And so again, this is the kind of sales activity triggers that we have that the marketing team can define in those customer journeys. A key differentiator here with customer insights is the ability to land end-to-end scenarios across the customer journey, including both digital interactions as well as channels such as sales and service where real people are getting engaged. So pulling together that digital and human experience. The same unified timeline in customer insights can be made available to the sellers in Dynamics 365 Sales. Saw a little bit of this in the video description before from Microsoft. And what this unified activity timeline under a contact helps with is really giving teams the full picture of the engagement history so that they can have the most impactful conversations and engagements possible. Organizations that are also leveraging Dynamics 365 Sales and Dynamics 365 Customer Service can see that customer insights interactions to create a cohesive, impactful conversation with the customer. And then in this example that you're looking at, Your sales team can reconnect with leads captured from the marketing activities in that Dynamics 365 unified timeline. The teams can search and filter marketing-only activities, such as all emails opened by contact X, and tailor conversations appropriately. This is also wonderful when we're leveraging some of the event management features that are available within Dynamics 365 Customer Insights journeys. So with Customer Insights here, these sellers can now gain greater intelligence about their clients and improve the customer experience with additional AI recommendations and predictions. So in the example you're looking at right now, sellers can see a recommended product for the customer that the seller can use to support a cross-sell or an upsell motion. You can see the customer lifetime value, and that's based off of some predictive insights from Customer Insights. We can see things like churn risk. Oftentimes for organizations, the most expensive client is the one that leaves, right? It's much harder to get somebody in the door than it is to retain them. So having an understanding of that churn is essential. And then loyalty points here are earned by the customer that is pulling from the customer data platform side of Customer Insights. So those might be areas that you choose to engage with in this application down the road, but for now, we're really more focused on that marketing side of things. At the end of the day, sellers can also be further enabled with these insights like customer sentiment analysis, which measures interactions across the business, and it's informed by Customer Insights. So customer sentiment could be coming from sales conversations that are happening on Teams or through Teams meetings, but it can also be just based off of the content in instant messages or in email communication. This information really helps to improve the overall prioritization of customers to sellers so that they can focus on the ones that are ready to purchase or really potentially shift gears in terms of engaging with customers that may be looking at other suppliers or looking to leave for a competitor. So again, there's features within Customer Insights that impact the entire customer success team, every portion of it, whether it's the folks that are responsible for creating that unified image and profile of a client, whether it's our marketers with building these journeys, our sellers who need the right information at the right time so that they can continue those discussions and drive success. And then also for our customer service agents who really need to understand that full context of a client while still delivering personalized interactions. So it's really looking to blend those digital engagements and experiences with the human side of things as well. As I mentioned before, when it comes to Customer Insights, you can use whichever portion of that platform that you choose initially. So you can choose to get started on the customer data platform side of things, or if the needs are there, you can focus on activating and using the marketing side. A single license gives an organization access to both. What you're going to be limited by, or what you have to keep in mind here, is just how many clients you're interacting with. So there are capacities involved with these applications. For the data platform side, it has to do with how many customer profiles you're creating. That's unified profiles, pulling data from all sorts of other systems, not just strictly in Dynamics. So you're not necessarily consuming that capacity just by having them in the system as a contact. On the customer journey orchestration side, on the marketing side, it does involve how many contacts we are marketing to in any given month. So that would be folks that we're engaging with, contacts that are part of a customer journey and aligned in those segments. So you can start where you want, but the impact, I think, is going to be shown throughout an organization, however you're getting started. As we talked about before, most organizations don't have this. They don't have it right yet. There's still a huge disconnect that exists between marketing and sales. And I think when you layer in the folks responsible from the data platform side and our customer success and customer support teams, that disconnect can get even bigger. Why would we look to Microsoft as a vendor for these things? I know Microsoft is always in the news. It's one of the benefits and the bugs, right, of being such a large organization. Well, you're not going into uncharted territory when you're investing in Microsoft solutions and building your business around Microsoft's business applications. 97% of Fortune 500 companies use some of Microsoft's business applications. I'd venture to guess the 3% that aren't are probably competitors to Microsoft. And Microsoft's business applications, they have over 500,000 different clients worldwide. They are continually rising in the ranks in terms of the analyst reports. I'm sparing you another Gartner slide here, but in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, you know, Microsoft is considered a leader in Salesforce automation, and they're right neck and neck with Salesforce, who has been on top for quite some time. And when we're looking at Microsoft, we're talking about one unified data model for all of your important client information and interactions. So there's no integration that's necessary here between sales and customer service and marketing. Now, when you're investing in the Dynamics platform and building your business around Microsoft's suite of business applications, we're talking about one consistent experience, one consistent record in terms of what people are working with. That improves the user experience, certainly, but it also drastically reduces the amount of overhead that an organization has in terms of maintaining these applications. You don't have to worry about a new update on one app pushing out and breaking everything else. And then when you look at the whole suite of Microsoft and what Microsoft can do, using their cloud tools for the business community, they're the only ones that have it all here. So Microsoft has been a trusted leader for the productivity and collaboration tools, and organizations have done a great job of adopting things like Outlook. Teams, I think, is pervasive throughout most organizations. And that means that as we're using tools like the marketing and sales or even the ERP applications, we still have full access to that whole suite of communication and collaboration tools. And we have access to all the same low-code automations and business intelligence tools that are offered through Microsoft's Power Platform. Low-code means that even your kind of enthusiastic Excel sheet wizards, they can actually get hands-on and create real solutions to help folks out. These tools are good for the individual user, but they're great for us as developers and as consultants because it means that we can drastically reduce the time to value for clients. Automations on top of these existing business applications take minutes. They don't take hours and days and years like it can be if you're working with a whole bunch of different vendors. And then inside of this landscape, Microsoft has wrapped this Copilot technology and these generative AI tools that they've really invested a lot in terms of their underlying infrastructure. And so you have that consistent set of identity, security management, and compliance. Data within Microsoft's ecosystem is always owned by the customers themselves. So you have the security, you have the protection, and then I think more importantly, you have the investment engine behind this. So as you build out your utilization of something like Dynamics 365 Sales or Customer Insights or Business Central, you're going to get more and more and more value out of that year over year as Microsoft continues to invest in these tools. But there's a catch, right? This is where I turn it around and I stop being a technologist for you. You really can't let the technology drive your strategy. So when we started here, we were talking about how things really just aren't aligned. We've got separate discussions going on the sales and the marketing side. We can't even agree on what a converted lead is or what that looks like. So I say the best place for any organization to start is by defining the customer journeys that they work with. What is this going to do? Well, this is going to help you, definitely target people a bit better in terms of your marketing. It's going to help you understand like how the assets you're creating actually support that sales funnel. And then your sales, marketing, and customer success teams are going to have that aligned vision on what their objectives are, and really who this client is that they're working with. Guaranteed that customer experience will improve as organizations build out these journeys and have that shared understanding. And you're also going to be able to identify those problem areas and reduce some of that friction that exists in any system that's preventing a client or a prospect from turning into a client. So what do customer journeys look like? Well, I think this is where we can actually maybe ditch the computers a little bit. I think that mapping out customer journeys is something that really works best in a workshop format where we can bring together all of those elements: sales, marketing, customer success, our chief revenue officers, anyone that's involved in that journey and defining it should get involved with building out a customer journey. And a customer journey is a lot more than a typical sales cycle. So I'm just going to jump over through my laser pointer. Oh, it worked. Okay, great. Typically, when we look at just a sales organization, well, let me back up and just walk y'all through this before I jump into the ins and outs with that. All right, so we're going to actually start just by talking through the various stages here. So awareness is sort of that classic prospect, right? Somebody who needs to know that your organization exists because they already have a problem and they're searching for solutions to it. So when we look through the awareness section, that's often, what's easily identified as just being a prospect or potential. Consideration really moves somebody into more of the lead, the classic kind of, lead structure, where yes, there's a request that's out there. They might want a little bit more information. They now know who you are as an organization, but they're just trying to get educated. Is this going to be a good fit for us? And then conversion, that's when the sales folks celebrate. That's when we're talking about a true transaction here. So an agreement is signed, clients undergo training if that's necessary. They line up the appropriate pieces, and then at the end of the day, they pay you, right? So that's the conversion process. Oftentimes, this is all that gets really addressed by sales organizations. And marketing may come in a little bit more in terms of the first two stages. But a customer journey has to go further than just a transaction, right? It's about moving into loyalty, so that we've got repeat business, that client that went through all the effort of figuring out who we are and whether we're the right fit. Now they know who we are, and now they know they can come back to us. So building out services and motions around loyalty is essential, but we have to take it one step further, and that's to advocacy. I like to define advocacy as when really your customers and clients can sell your business better than you can, better than your sellers can. This creates that flywheel effect and that virtuous cycle where, as we look at our overall picture in terms of a customer's journey, we know our objective isn't strictly to get somebody from awareness to consideration. No, we want to get them all the way to advocacy. I think oftentimes advocacy is a little bit more aspirational than realistic for organizations. But if you don't have that aspiration, you're going to miss out on plenty of opportunities to drive more value. So when working through a customer journey, we recommend that you always start with the who. Not the band, but that's not always a bad idea either. You can throw on some tunes if you want, especially if we're in a conference room workshopping this up. But no, it's who are we talking to? You can't just rely on having a single persona that you engage with. Here at True North Dynamics, we find that we have certainly strict personas that we're looking to market with, but even as folks move into projects with us, we have some of those personas then transfer over. So what might be just an assigned researcher and kind of that awareness stage, they become a product owner once we're in a project. Those could be the folks that are owning the overall implementation, helping to guide our development team through that process. Oftentimes there will be an executive sponsor, right? And that's an important piece in terms of an actual implementation. But initially, they might just be a business decision maker. So the messaging that we're going to give both of those groups is very different. We also deal with a lot of stakeholders, people that might not be directly involved with one of our projects, but they need to be informed about what's going on. They need to be up to speed. Here at True North Dynamics, we work with a lot of channel partners, organizations, MSPs, other system integrators. And so for us, it's it's important to know if we're dealing with a stakeholder, if we're dealing with, a future product owner or a business decision maker. I think every organization should have at least 3 personas they work with, but you should definitely take it beyond that and don't limit yourself. I think this sort of data lives best inside of an Excel sheet where you've got tab after tab you can review together on a regular basis and make sure that you're not missing out on any extra wins that are out there. This takes time, this takes effort, and this takes communication. And so these are areas where some organizations can take it on themselves. They can grab a slide like this and they can run with it. But if you need assistance with those discussions, if you need to help in terms of alignment, that's where partners like True North come into play and where we can assist you and help guide you with those discussions so that you get a good foundation before we even move into the technology. And when we get this right, you can start to find some answers to critical questions. Who are we neglecting, right? Who do we forget about in terms of those personas? It's not just procurement, everyone, right? We need to make sure we're talking to all of the stakeholders. Where does the sales team get stuck? They can help identify, within that journey where they are running into issues or where there are advocates that don't have an appropriate platform today. We can see how marketing support can support customer success. So once we move through that client phase, I think that's really where what is classically customer support, we like to redefine as customer success, can come into play because they're going to be the folks that are interacting with your clients once they come on board. And at the end of the day, what can marketing do to turn that prospect into an advocate? You have to have at least a framework before you can go there and start to answer those questions. And if you're having trouble with this, that's where you can align with True North Dynamics, because we're your Dynamics 365 experts, but you're the experts on your business. And so what we can do is really help facilitate these discussions. We can open up your thoughts and your understanding around what's possible. And then we can help you capture those visions and really translate them into requirements and into projects to help you execute on that and to be successful. So that kind of wraps up sort of the standard presentation here. This is where I get to take a little bit of a risk and jump into a touch of a live demo. So I'm going to bring us into the Dynamics 365 Customer Insights application. And we're going to take a look, find out here whether or not my QR code worked and if we had any responses in terms of that initial form that I put out. So right now I'm in just a simple trial environment. This is something that all of you can have access to as well. I think trials are a mixed bag. I think you can explore, you can learn a lot, but you're sort of cut out from our journey, right? True North doesn't have the ability to see what you're doing in there. And oftentimes people will get hung up in these trial environments, get frustrated a bit too early. So I'm not gonna say don't do it, but if you run into issues with a trial, feel free to phone a friend, touch base with us, and we can make sure you're on the right path. So when you first open up this, trial, you'll be brought to a landing page that gives you a lot of guidance, including a whole section here in terms of training that's available to folks. So all sorts of helpful tutorials and how-tos. You'll also see that we've got our event planning section within Customer Insights. So there is a whole other component to this platform around events like the one everyone's attending today. We use Customer Insights internally, and we use this event management portal. But right now we're really involved in the real-time journeys. So I created that little lead form before, and really the purpose is just to show you all that we're going to have some consistency here between our Customer Insights application and then the Dynamics 365 sales. So we've got my cheeky little Let's Go Buffalo, first name, last name, email. We can take a look here to see what kind of submissions we've had. So that's fantastic. Thank you all so much for jumping in here and adding a little bit of extra detail. But what's most important is this information has to get over to our sales team too. So moving a little bit quick here, I'll just pause. Right now I'm on my form inside of Customer Insights. For those of you that aren't familiar with this platform, we can change our applications at the very top here and go ahead and just jump into the Sales Hub. So this would be our CRM application that sellers would be accustomed to seeing. And here we can see I've got a list of active contacts. I am just going to filter company name to not containing data. And there we go. We've got the same contacts have pulled over from our marketing application here into sales. And we can go even further than that. Inside of the Customer Insights application, you'll notice that there's sales activities that we can assign. We have templates around our messaging. We've got different channels of communication that are available to us. There's a lot that can get put together, but the purpose of this was really just to show you guys that on day one, right, I spun this trial up yesterday. You can see I have 29 days left. You can start to work with these tools in a way that'll make life easier for you. It'll start to get rid of just endless Excel sheets and inconsistent formatting on who our clients are and where they're coming from. And then we can take that data, we can take those clients and we can move them through a journey that's going to help them move to the next stage, increase the loyalty that they have with you, and ultimately help us all meet our revenue goals a little bit quicker so that we can make more with the time that we have and make more money along the way. That's it in terms of my demo side. I'm just gonna kick over here to our thank you, but honestly, I like this one a bit better. So I'll pause here and I'll just ask Amber, how am I doing on time first off? And then do we have any questions so far?
Scott, we don't have any questions yet in the Q&A, so please, we do have a couple more minutes, about eight or 9 minutes left in the webinar. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to submit those now and we'll be happy to address them.
And certainly, please feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger. We're absolutely here to assist. For those of you that know who to reach out to at True North Dynamics, please, feel free to contact them. But for myself, again, my name is Scott Orange. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn, send me an email. If you're federated with our account, you can even shoot me a message inside of Teams. But I appreciate everybody for attending today. I'm gonna just jump over to see if anything came through. Oh, no, I see just a message from Amber on my time check. So Amber, I think if everyone's all right, I'll cut people loose. No need to take up any more time in your day. Again, I truly appreciate you attending. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And I would encourage everyone to start having discussions internally around who their clients are, what those personas are, and then start to map out a journey that really doesn't just stop at a transaction, but moves fully through to that advocacy stage. With that, Amber, I think we're good if you want to close us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Scott. Yes, please feel free to reach out to your client success manager. If you don't know who that is, you are more than welcome to reach out to us at clientsuccess@truenorthdynamics.com. And we look forward to future discussions with you. Thank you very much for your time today, guys. Bye, guys.